I'd like to begin by sharing with you a mistake I made. Would that be okay? I share with you a mistake, one of the many that I've made. You see, a few years ago, my wife and I went on a road trip. How many like road trips? I love road trips. And we were going across the country. We live in Minnesota, so we were headed across the country to meet with some friends and spend some time with them in Taos Ski Village, New Mexico. It was summertime, so we were going to enjoy the cooler weather up in the mountains. And we were in the middle of nowhere, literally going across Colorado. It was the middle of nowhere. And this is the mistake I made. You see, we had a long day of driving the day before, had a restful night at a hotel, and we got up, got our coffee, got on the road, and I forgot to check a few things. And so as we were in the middle of nowhere, I went past a sign. And that sign said the next town is 47 miles. I looked down at my gas gauge, and here's where the mistake comes in. I saw I only had 23 miles of fuel left. You guessed it. I realized right away, first, I don't have enough fuel to get from here to the next town, and we're in the middle of nowhere. My second thought, do I tell my wife now, or do I wait till later? Well, she's trained me right, so I decided to say, hey, honey, I just passed the sign. Next town is 47 miles. And she said, that's great, because after all that coffee, I need to use the restroom. I said, well, it might take us a little bit longer because we only have 23 miles of fuel left. And we went down just a little bit farther, just around the bend, and there in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, to our surprise, was a house off in the distance. And as I approached it, I got off the dirt road that was there, and dust was flying up behind my car, and I got out of my car. There were some dogs barking, and all of a sudden I had a little panic, like, oh my goodness, I hope they don't come to the door with a shotgun, having an uninvited guest on their property. And I knocked on the door. These dogs are barking. The dust is now starting to catch up to me at the front porch. And a woman came to the door, and a nice woman. She opened the door and she said, may I help you? I told her my situation. I said, where is the next town? Is there any place I can get gas? And she said, the next town's 47 miles that way. I thought, oh no. Now I thought I'll set her up perfectly because I'm sure that garage out there has a gas can. They'll get me a little bit farther. And so I said, is there any place else we could get some fuel? And she said, 47 miles that way. I thought, oh dear, I'm in trouble. And then she said, as I began to turn around and say thank you very much, she said, oh wait, if you go back a mile and go north about another 19 miles or 18 miles, there's a small town there. You might be able to get gas there. I got back in the car, told my wife, we went back the other way, and as we were headed up to that small town, a white Jeep pulled in front of me, and I thought, oh dear, he's slowing me down. You know, I was in the time where I would put it in drive, go for a little ways, put it in neutral, and let it coast as far as I could. And this Jeep pulled in front of me, and I thought, oh no, this isn't good. So I pulled up next to the Jeep. I rolled down my wife's window. I told her my situation. I said, sir, I don't have much fuel to find the gas station. Could you lead us to where that gas station is? He said, I know exactly where it is. Follow me. And so I followed that man, and we got to the gas station with less than 1 mile of fuel left. Whew, that was close. That was real close. I was so grateful. My wife got to use the restroom. I got to fill up with gas, and we got on our way. Well, why do I tell you that story as I begin today? I tell you that story because as I meet people in my own home state of Minnesota, and as I travel across the country and even around the world, I find people over and over, maybe like you and me, that are a little running on empty. We're depleted, we've been overworked, we've been overwhelmed, we've been discouraged, and we're wondering, how do I increase hope in my life? How do I fill up with direction for my life? And if in these next few moments that I have the privilege to stand before you, if I could just be like that woman at that house and just give you a new direction, say maybe if you go back this way, you might be able to find that filling station. Or maybe in these next few moments, if I could be like the man in the white Jeep and say, hey, follow me. I know exactly what you need to fill up your tank. In these next few moments, as we talk about leadership, because I'm passionate about leadership,